Ben Johnson, speaking of numbers, and I shudder like I hide when I say this. I think it's more possible that he leaves by the minute. And let me get a shield from the WoodwardSports.com chat thread, because I saw everybody. They're prepared to riot over this. But you want numbers. And again, this doesn't dictate everything. This doesn't say everything. The betting favorite to be the next head coach of the Carolina Panthers is Ben Johnson.
No.
The betting favorite. That doesn't mean it's a done deal. That doesn't mean it's going to happen.
Break it down for us, Neil. Does that make sense for a Ben Johnson? I think at the end of the day, first of all, right, 32 coaches in the NFL, and forget argument's sake about, well, this guy's not leaving and this guy, whatever like that. I asked the question, has anybody ever asked Ben Johnson if he wants a coaching gig? And you said to me is that there's only so many of these, regardless of the job you do, you're getting the bag. So that's the end. That would seem, Terry, that's the progression, that everybody if they get into coaching wants to get up to the top, which is, you'd see that this kid. Now the question mark, does Carolina make the most sense, right, with what they have going with their owner, right, which is number one, right? We're talking about Chicago Bears and all the money. The House family, though, right, maybe a little bit cheap, right, maybe a little bit not spending the money, whereas opposed to the Carolina guy, he goes out and does what he wants, gets what he wants, trades, Christian McCaffrey, does whatever else. So does the fit work there for a Ben Johnson?
Yeah, because there's no, I call him like a noose contract. There's no noose contracts there. They don't have, the Russell Wilson contract at Carolina. Even the big deals they have, like Taylor Morton's their highest paid player, their right tackle. DJ Moore is their second highest paid player. They both got outs after next year where, your cap hit, it's not nothing, but it's minimal, and you have a lot of cap space. You could do it where you can make those go away. You have obviously a higher draft pick. I don't know that it's in the range where you can get the quarterback you want to get, but it's there. Like, it's an option, right? You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's one of those things for me where, and Zach Conley says, why won't Sheila pay him? And guys, it's not that. It's not getting paid. Look, I've talked about this. And D-Mac, I'm sure you have a personal story about it. Terry, I'm sure you have a personal story about it. Like, for me, I want to be an announcer in the NBA. I don't care what job gets offered to me. I'm taking that job. I am. Like, right. That, and it's not, the money is the money. Is it
Minnesota that doesn't have a first rounder till 2029 or 30
right.
or whatever that?
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm taking that job because that's who I want to be. I want to be at the highest level of what I do. That's what drives me. The money's nice. Like, that's great and everything. But I want to be at that highest level. I would assume you wanted to be at the highest level of what you did. Terry, you wanted to be at the highest level. You were at a top 10 newspaper in the country.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, and that meant something to you, I'm sure.
It did. And the other thing that people must understand, there is, when you're good, you're going to lose your assistant coaches. That's just the part of it. See, right. The Lions fans are not used to assistant coaches leaving because nobody wanted them. So now
this is the place where coaches go to die.
They go to die.
They used to. That's how you know it's not the same, right?
They go to suck. But now Ben Johnson, and who knows, it could happen with other coaches too, where their resume is built up here, and they're going to leave. You just can't pay somebody an offensive coordinator the same as you can a head coach. You're right, Neil. That's not an issue. Now, all of these coaches at some point play competitive sports. What I find with coaches is they're the most competitive people around. They want to achieve the most. They want their blueprint on something. They want to achieve at the highest level. And the thing that they always believe is, if this guy can't do it, I can do it.
100%.
And I'm going to show you, bam. I go to Carolina, I can go to Indianapolis. There's a bunch of jobs that's open. I'd be shocked if Ben Johnson is back next year.
Here's a couple things, right? Like with us playing Carolina and Ben Johnson, I know we played against him, but he got to see some of that offense of what he'd have to deal with. You have obviously who played against us, whether it be Sam Darnold moving forward or whoever it is, but you see the job he's done with Jared Goff. These are all good questions. The other question is, Terry, and I see it, getting guys poached off your staff. That only happens to good teams like San Francisco and across and Green Bay and the coaching trees to that. But here's the thing: has anybody thought too, or is anybody worried about what if Ben Johnson goes and gets hired? You not only lose him, but then what if he wants to take a Mark Brunell,
right,
or take somebody else? So, but again, these are the conversations that we're going to have to add to our repertoire in the off season if we expect this team to continue to get big and win. What happens when they win the North? What happens when they win playoff games? You think a lot of these guys aren't going to get an opportunity, especially under the... Here's the one thing, Neil. In Dan Campbell's second year, are we going to have... Is he going to get referred to as having a Dan Campbell coaching tree?
That would be wild.
Hey, imagine that.
Dude,
less than a year after
there's a New England coaching tree. There's a 49ers coaching tree. There's not a Detroit Lions coaching tree.
No, that's what I'm saying. Why. But is there a seed going to be planted?
Yes.
Would that be wild if there was a Dan Campbell coaching tree when they were 1-6 3 months ago?
You know why there would be? Because Dan Campbell comes from the Sean Payton coaching tree,
right,
and Sean Payton comes from the Bill Parcells coaching tree. It's all different branches of the biggest tree there is.
See, now you're getting it. It all comes down to one of the original 7 coaches.